Welcome to Takniki Gyan Guru. I'm back with another DevOps tutorial. I was away from YouTube for almost a month due to personal commitments, and I apologize for not responding to your comments during that time. Today's tutorial is inspired by one of my subscriber, Dilip. I noticed this is a common issue that many people are interested in, so I decided to make a video about it. Special apologies to Dilip for the delay in responding to your repeated request. Before we get started, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Now let's get started. So first of all, we'll develop our code using VS Code. So in VS Code, we have already created a .NET Core web application, right? In my previous video, I have already created and deployed to the IIS in the local machine, right? So I will continue that project only. All the development will be done, right? Done in previous video. I will continue that video only, right? Only the deployment part to Azure VM. So today we will deploy our .NET Core web application to IIS in Azure VM using Jenkins pipeline and Azure CLI. So this request is being done by the Dilip, right? So so we will continue the previous video only, right? So in VS Code, what we will understand is we will understand the Jenkins pipeline, how we will create a different stage to build our code, test our code, and then we will upload our code to the Azure blob storage, and then finally we will deploy from storage to the VM. So we will push our code to GitHub. Our code is already exist, right? So what we will do is I have already created one branch from it, and then I have updated the Jenkins pipeline into the new branch. So I'll show you in GitHub also. We will manually trigger this application using the Jenkins. Inside the Jenkins pipeline, we have mentioned the pull the code from GitHub, then we will build the code, we'll run the test, and then we will upload our code to the Azure Blob Storage using Azure CLI. So we will set up a Azure CLI. I'll not show you how to install the Azure CLI. I'll show you how to download and then install. You can directly go to the Microsoft site and download the Azure CLI, and then you can install it on your Windows machine. So what I have done is I have already installed this Azure CLI into my Windows machine where the Jenkins is already installed. So I am not using any Jenkins node here. So within the Jenkins, where the Jenkins is installed, I have already installed the Jenkins CLI also, the Azure CLI also. So I don't need to install the plugins and all. So if you are using a node, then in that case you can also use the plugins and all those things. All right. So I separately install Azure CLI on Jenkins machine, and then it will work finally. You can test first the Azure CLI is working or not. If it is working, then you can directly run your Azure CLI in the Jenkins. So once we will upload the code using Azure CLI to the below storage, right? So in the below storage, we will create a below storage, and the container inside the below storage will upload our this web application to the below storage, right? And then finally we will deploy this application to IIS, right, in Azure VM. So we will create a Azure VM, but not enable the IIS and the virtual folder, right? So that is already created. So what I will do is I will just um, deploy this code to the in the Windows VM, one of the folder. I'll create a folder. That folder could be your virtual, folder, right? Your website folder. You can say your website folder. If you have already linked your folder to your website folder, then you can directly deploy this application to your folder. So I'll not create the IIS, inet manager and IIS and the website, right? That portion will not do. What we'll do is we will deploy one of the this application to one of our folder into the Azure VM. That will be correct, because if you want, you can go and check my previous video where we have enabled the IIS and the create a website, right? That portion will uh, ignore here, or we will not do. Correct. So what we have understood is, first of all, we will create a Jenkins pipeline where we will mention all these stages: pull code, build code, test code, upload code to the wheel of storage, and this upload code to the wheel of storage using Azure CLI, deploy this code to the Windows VM using Azure CLI. So Azure CLI will be installed in Jenkins machine, and will create the below storage will create this machine, right? For setting up the Azure CLI, we would need some details like, on the access key, secret key, VM IP address, VM name, or VM user name, user password, right? And the tenant ID, subscription ID. So those things are required. So I will talk about little bit. If you definitely, if you are working on Azure, you should have the tenant ID, subscription ID on those things. So, and you have all the access, right? So once you have the access, then you can do this. So let's get started. So once you understand how this work, then we can go for the demo. So I have already uploaded my code. This is the same URL, https://github.com taknikigyanguru/.net core -sms.git. The same we have, right? We have deployed our code in my previous video, and I have created another branch called Azure VM, and nothing changed. We have only made a change into only the Jenkins file. Nothing, no other change, right? Now let's go and see the demo. So I am in the command prompt. Let me see if the Azure VM is installed. In this machine I have installed my Jenkins also. So az version. So Azure CLI version is already exists 2.6.1. If you do not have the Azure CLI, then you have to download and install. Download Azure CLI for Windows. Go to the Microsoft site, and here you can see latest MSI for Azure CLI. If you have the 32-bit version machine, then you can download. I have 64-bit. I downloaded this MSI and then install it. So you can click, it will download, and you can install it, right? So this way you can install, and then you can directly use the CLI in your machine. So now let's go to to the GitHub. In GitHub, As I said, github.com Takniki Guru .NET Core SMS. Here you can go and download this, right? But I have two branch. I have created this Azure VM branch. Here I have the Jenkins file. So I have already uploaded the Jenkins and web app. So let's understand the Jenkins file. First of all, this is the pipeline. We are using agent any, means it will use our exist, means the where the Jenkins is installed, the same machine will be used here. So I haven't used any Jenkins node. So it will, because of only Jenkins machine server we are using, so the same machine will be used here. So environment. So here what I'm doing is, this line is not required, you can ignore. Azure subscription ID. So if you have already subscription ID, you can directly put here, but I don't want to show my subscription ID. So I created a credentials using the same subscription ID. Correct. So you can, have your subscription ID with you. Azure client ID, client ID and secret ID, right? So I'll show you how to generate client ID, secret ID in different way, right? You have different way to create client ID and secret ID. So either if you have the AZ, you can directly run a command. I'll show you what command you can use to generate a secret, client ID and secret ID. Azure tenant ID. This tenant ID you can get from your Azure. Also the subscription ID you can get from Azure. Resource groups. This is required because whenever we are creating any service, it comes under any resource group. So we'll create a resource group. Inside this resource group, we'll deploy our services, right? Azure VM. I just put this name. We can change. You can have any VM. We will create a VM with same name or different name as per your requirement. You can do it. IP. This will also change because it is not the confidential. So we can directly give the name. VM user. Whatever VM user you want, you can use here. Password. The VM password, right? So I'm just getting the password from this credentials. These credentials are from the Jenkins credentials, right? So we'll show you. I have already set up this, but I'll show you how to create credentials for subscription, client, secret, and all. Storage account. This is also, you can create a credentials, but I am directly giving the name of this account, storage account name. But storage account key should be Jenkins credentials, right? And container name, this container will be created inside your storage account. And the application name, so you can give any application name, right? So it will save your application, this zip into the storage account using this name, right? This is the variable I'm using as an environment variable, right? Now stage 1 is checkout. We'll start stages. First stage is checkout, where we'll download our application from GitHub. Build phase, .NET restore, restoring all the dependencies, and then we will build our application. Build .NET build configure release. So you should also have the .NET Core installed on your machine, right? Otherwise it will not work. So this is already discussed my previous video. I will give you into the description, the link in the description. You can go and check it out. And then the test stage, where .NET test no restore. So because we do not have any test cases here, so it will be empty. And publish. In the publish section, what I have done, this is just publishing our code into the local publish folder, right? So .NET publish no store and output dot double slash publish. In this folder, all the code will be published, and then we will use a PowerShell command to zip this folder name application zip, right? Compress archive path publish. This publish folder will be, you know, published folder will be zipped into this location. Application zip name will be application zip in the same location, right? The folder location. So this application is zipped, and this application zipped folder will be used to upload into the Azure Blob storage. Azure login. So Azure login will use to login. We will log in to Azure, right? Using the AZ login command. AZ login service principal. So we have to create a service principal using the Azure client ID, Azure secret ID, and tenant ID. These three things is required to log in, because in the backend we are login, right? So it will not open any prompt or browser. It will directly log in the backend and will set the account of subscription ID. So these four things we required: the client ID, secret, tenant, and subscription. We have mentioned all these, uh, you know, environment variable in this section, right? Tenant IDs, client ID, secret ID, subscription ID. Once it is logged in, right? We have logged into Azure. So now we are authenticated and authorized to use the services, right? Azure services. Now another stage is upload to Azure storage. So now we will run another command, AG storage wheel of upload. So storage wheel of upload, we are uploading a GIF file to the wheel of storage. Account name, this is the account name we have mentioned in the environment variable, and account key, this is also account key, and container name. Inside the storage account we have the container, and file will be application zip file, name application zip, same. Overwrite, will overwrite it. Why overwrite? So first time we will upload, the next time when you are uploading, if you are not using override, it will give you an error for existing error, right? This will upload your, this is the file, right? The same folder we have created application zip file here, if you can see. PowerShell command, it is creating a zip folder, application zip, right? Destination, the same folder, it will pick from the same folder and upload into this file, upload into the um, storage. Now what are the parameters it is taking? First of all, it is taking storage account, this one, storage, Azure storage key, I'll show you where we will get this one, and container, this one. These three parameters is taking to upload storage account key, and container name, right? So this way this will upload your GIF file to the to the below storage. Once it is uploaded, then we'll create a SES token, right? What this SES token is, this token will be created, uh, you know, to get your below storage, right, with some expiry date. So this URL will be used for some time, right? So just like expiry date now plus one. So next remind tomorrow, if I'm creating this token for today, then one day after next day, this token will be expired. So we need to create a token, the expired, the date, format, and command. What command will use? Storage will generate SES account name, same account name, and account key, container name, and application permission. Permission expire in this state, right? And it will be saved into the SES token.txt file. So it will create a generate a token and uh, push into the text file, right? And this bat command will execute this command, and output will be saved into the text file. And then this will be retrieve or get the SES token from the text file, read file SES token. So the token will be saved into here, and we are just printing this token to see. And then we are just pushing this SES token to the environment variable SES token, right? We'll use in the next stage. So once the token is created, there is nothing, we'll delete it. Now the next stage is deploy to Azure VM. Now we will this in this stage we'll deploy our code to this one. So first of all, we need to create the below storage URL. So first of all, how to create https:// Azure storage account dot below dot core dot windows dot net slash, we have to use the Azure container name slash the application name and question mark the SES token. So this will create using this below storage, because we our own storage account name, this container name, and the application name, right? Zip application name dot zip, and the token we have generated in the previous stage. This will create a URL. From this URL we will get our application as a zip folder, right? So we are just printing the URL, and that this is not required. Now we will create a PowerShell script. This script will be run into the VM. So what we are using, the PowerShell script, the security protocol, first of all .NET Service Point Manager, security protocol, .NET security protocol, TLS. So security protocol we are using TLS 1.2. So sometime if you are not using any version, it will get some error. So you have to mention the TLS version 1.2, right? And storage URL, what URL from which URL we are downloading the our application. This below URL we are mentioning here. Destination path is we are downloading this application from this URL to the this folder, and this is the zip folder name, right? In this destination folder we'll download, and then we'll test if test path destination path this path is already exists, then remove item destination or force. So we will remove the folder. Otherwise first time you will download it, next time you will download the application already exists, it will give you the error. So if the application is already exists, we'll remove, right? We'll check if the destination exists, then we'll remove this folder, and then we will write the output download file from this URL to this. So this will download our file, right? Like invoke, and this is the output, right? And then we'll show you the this will print, right? And then we'll execute invoke web request URI, this URI output destination path, this destination path is this, right? So this will download in this folder. Now again, this again we are putting extract, we are extracting this folder because when we are downloading it will be a GIF file, right? Then we are expand archive path, destination path will be d.net app. In the same folder it will unzip the folder. Force, why we are using force? Again, if the folder file is already exist, it will force to overwrite, and then write output deploy completed, and write file deploy psc text PowerShell script, and then we will create a deploy.ps file, right? This using this code, right? And then we will run this PowerShell file in this command, and azvm run command. This azvm run command will run this script into your VM. Azvm run command invoke Azure resource group. This is the Azure resource group, Azure VM. In this VM, this script will be run. Command ID hyphen script deploy.ps1. This deploy.ps1. This file will be run in this machine, right? This way we will deploy our code. So suppose here I'm just showing, suppose you have the machine, you have enable the IIS, create a website, and that website folder is um, like t.net app, right? So destination folder, whatever the uh, your website folder is, you can mention here d.net uh, app or whatever your folder path. You give the folder path here, then your application will be unzip to this folder. I'll show you, right? So this way we have understood this code. Now let's go to the Azure. I will create, first of all we'll create a below storage and a VM, and then we'll get the details from there. So let's go to Azure. You can search resource group, right? Here you can create a new resource group. In this resource group you will have all your resource group. I'm giving a name called rg.net app, okay, and this will be Asia Pacific South India. I'm taking this. Next, I'm not giving any and I'm going to create rg.net app. This resource group is created. And now let's get storage, search storage account. I'm just creating a storage account here. Uh, right, first of all we create the storage resource group. Now we are going to create a storage account. I'm clicking storage account, click on create. resource group automatically came here. If you have different storage group, click here and select. You may have many resource group, you can select one, or you can create a new resource group here, right? Account name, mm, let's say I'm giving st storage.net app, st storage, or you can say sa.net app storage account, right? sa.net app Asia Pacific South, same reason we are giving. Standard we are using general purpose v2, and this we will use a local redundance. We don't want it will be the geo redundance will be for production use, so we'll use local redundancy because it may impact on the cost also. So the geolocation will be more costly than this. This is done. Review and create. So all everything I just as is, I didn't use any default. If you want, we can go and check, like this is the basic we have given, right? Now you can not go to review, you can go to next. You can see any other details you want to make change. So I don't want to make any change here. Next, networking. Next, data protection. I don't want this. If you want, you can directly go and select encryption. I don't want to change anything. Tag also not giving. And directly go and create. So it will take some time. We'll back. So now the storage account has been created. You can go to resource, click on this, or you can directly go to storage account, and you can see, like if you can go storage account. Inside the storage account you can see your storage account. Click here. Here on this, okay, you can see the subscription ID. You can select from here, or you can go and select it, or you can search subscription, click on subscription, where you can get the subscription ID also. uh, if you can see here in the left menu, you can see data storage, right? In the data storage, click on container. In this container we need to create a container over here. Click container, say con.net app, okay, create this container. So we need the details like the container name, Okay, so I'm just saving all these details. One more file, uh, Azure details, container name, this. Okay, and the storage account name, storage account name, this. Now we also need, now the data storage, go down on the security and networking. Inside the security and networking you can see access key. In this access key we need either key 1 or key 2. This key is basically the Azure storage account key, right? So this is required. So let's show this key, select on key, show and copy. Say storage account key. I just saved here, right? So we have taken the details for this one, right? The container, storage account name, container name, and access key. These three is required. And resource group, click on resource group, resource group name also this one. Copy resource group also, source group, this. So these details are required. And now we'll create a virtual machine. Let's create VM, search VM. You can find virtual machine. We don't have any VM here. Click on create Azure Virtual Machine. Resource group, you can select the same I have created. If you have multiple resource group, you can select one. Virtual machine name, I will select the same VM name, VM.NET app, Asia Pacific, no change on availability option. Here we will use standard security type, image, Windows Server 16 Gen 2. Okay, okay, and if you can see, you can click here and you can select 16 Gen 2. Here standard V1S, 1 CPU 1 GB memory you can select, or you can go see all size and select one of them. Click on select. Okay, nothing. Okay, username, you can use username like this .NET admin. You can give any other name also. I'm just giving because I have already mentioned here. And .NET admin, password. Password, let us use here VM name, .NET admin and VM password be .NET admin 3. Okay, I'm giving this. Public port, I'm just opening the RDP 3389. So I can use RDP to log in this machine, right? And I have no license. Click next. No change here. Click next. Okay, we'll create another VNet. No change. Public IP I want, so new public IP. Okay, no change. No load balancer is required. Management also nothing. Monitoring nothing. No change. Tag, it is up to you. Whatever you want to change, you can do it. Okay, now you can go and create the VM. So once VM is created, we would need access key and secret key. So for access key and secret key, there are many ways to create. So we'll show you first of all. Let it be created and let understand. Go to the VS Code. Go to VS Code credentials. This is the command ag add back double hyphen name. This is any name you can give. Role contributor, scope, subscription ID. You can give your subscription ID here, right? And you can copy and run here, right? Once you run, because I have already run, I have already created, I don't want to create another the secret key and access key. So it will give you this kind of output. App ID, this is the secret key, this is the access key. um, this will be used, right? And the password will be secret key. Anything whatever it will print, you can use this secret key. This is the access key and tenant. These three things will be uh, you know the output from this. This can be run into your local machine using Azure CLI or into the browser. If you are in browser, you can click on this cloud shell. If you click on cloud shell, it will ask you some details, and then you can run your command here also. So the same output it will give here only. Okay, so you can get the cloud, get the details here. Okay, now you can paste and or you can type. Paste will not work. Okay, using this you can use, right click, paste, and once you run this command it will give the same output like this. You can have the uh, access key and secret key and tenant ID. So your machine is There machine is created. Go to the VM, search VM. The new VM is created, right? Close this cloud shell here. This VM is created and the public IP is this. Let's RDP mstsc, run mstsc, paste here, connect. Okay, it is asking for username password. We have already given user and password here. .NET admin is user and this is the password. Say okay. Okay, it is logged in. Okay, so let's open the PowerShell here because we need to enable the uh, WinRM here. So PowerShell type press Windows command PowerShell, type PowerShell, again Windows command PowerShell. I'm clicking PowerShell ISE. This PowerShell is required here. Let us go to WinRM, right? So we need to enable the WinRM. Just copying this, pasting here. Enable-PSRemoting Force WinRM set WinRM config auth basic. Right. So I'm just going to run this. Okay, it's done. Let's see if there are some error. We'll see. So machine is done, configuration is done. Now go to the browser. One more thing, if you are unable to run the this command, right, to create the access key secret key. If you are unable to run this command and you want to create access key secret key from the browser, you can do from here also. You can search Active Directory. This is the Microsoft Active Directory is here. No, Active Directory I'm searching for. Active Directory. This one, Microsoft Extra Active Directory, right? This one. Click your Active Directory here. Default directory. Here you can click Add App Registration. Inside the app registration, give the name, account, directory. Same, you can select the default one, and the redirect URI, it is optional, and register. And then you can generate a access key and secret key, right? And this is done. Let's configure the other things now. So what we need to configure this all these details, right? So now let's move to the browser. In the browser, if you can see, we need to configure. Okay, now go to here, Jenkins file. We need to configure subscription ID. This is as a credentials, right? Client ID, client secret, tenant ID, resource group. This these needs to be updated. So let's go to the browser first, and I have the Azure VM. In the Azure VM, I have the Jenkins file. I'll update directly in the Jenkins file and added this file. Right now, this is coming from Jenkins. The subscription ID, client ID is also from credential, secret from credentials, Azure tenant credentials, resource group, right? We need to update this one. So we have credentials, Azure details, right? Resource group name is this. So we'll update resource group, this one. Azure VM name .NET admin, same, right? IP addresses, we need to get the IP address from VM, select VM. This is the virtual machine. And this is the IP address. I need to update into the GitHub. This is the IP address. I need to update Azure VM user. Azure VM user. Azure VM name. What was the username? .NET admin. This one the username. Sorry. VM username. .NET admin. This is the same .NET admin. Password coming from credentials. So we have to update the credentials. Storage account. Storage account name as a this one. Storage account. A name is this. Storage access key from credentials. Azure container name. Container name is this on .NET, right? Copy this container name and give the container name. Application zip. This can be, you can give any name, right? So that's fine. So we have updated not credential, only the static one, right? Resource group we have updated. VM name, VM.NET app, Azure VM IP address, Azure VM username, password we need to update, storage account we have updated, storage key we need to update, container name we have updated. So now we will commit updated with environment details. Okay, and commit this change. Now we'll move to the Jenkins. In the Jenkins home page, we'll click on manage Jenkins. So manage Jenkins, we need to go down and credentials. Go down, click on system and global credentials. Here what you need to do is, for every go to this one Jenkins file, for every credentials, right, you need to create add credentials. You need to select secret text. This will be global. Secret means, suppose if you have VM password, right? So VM password ID is this. VM password ID. Copy VM password ID. Put into ID and VM secret. This will be the password. The password we have in Azure detail. VM password is this. So you need to put this as password in the secret. The password will be secret and ID will be this Jenkins. In the Jenkins file you mentioned the VM password ID. This password ID, using this password ID, the password will be fetched from the credentials and then put into this variable. So I have already created, so I will just update it, right? Whatever things we have. So first of all, the VM, let's create subscription ID. I don't want to change. I'll show you this subscription ID, right? This is created as a secret key, secret text. Client ID, client secret. Same, how to create client secrets. Use this ID, copy this ID, add credentials, again use secret text. Here ID will be this and client secret, client ID, whatever client ID is this, the secret, right? This way you can create all these credentials. So what I need to update is this subscription ID I have already updated, client ID updated, secret also, tenant ID, right? So you should create this in your credentials section here one by one, right? This is static VM password, right? I have created VM password ID. So let's go to VM password ID. This one, the VM password ID. click on this VM password ID. Click on this. If you can see here, ID, change secret, change password, right? So what I need to do, I need to go and Azure detail VM password was this. I'm just putting here, right? Now you can see scope global, secret ID is VM password ID, description I don't want, just save it. Correct. And what else I need to update? Jenkins file .NET VM password, storage account, and Azure storage key ID, right? Storage key ID I need to update. What is storage key? You can go Azure details. You can see container name, storage account key, right? This is the secret key in the storage account, right? So I need to copy this storage account key. Need to search storage key ID, right? So this storage key ID I need to update. You need to create, right? I have already created. I don't want to create again. So secret is this a storage key ID, right? And save it. Storage key ID is done. Storage key ID is also done. So you have to create one by one credentials for each. Whatever credential you see, credential for subscription, credential for uh, secret, no, and tenant, and VM password, and the storage key. These things you need to create as an credentials. Now go to dashboard. So all these credentials is created. You will create by your own. Correct. If you have any, if you are still confused or you want help, just write in the comment section. I'll definitely help. Okay. Now one more thing, right? If you go to the pipeline, you can see in the deploy to Azure VM, we are deploying to path d.net. So folder should be here. So I'm just going to create a folder into D drive, right? In the VM, I have created a new VM, right? So go to folder. If you can see in the folders section in the PC, you can see C and D. So I want to create a new folder. Maybe you can connect this folder as a your website folder. So if in this folder I do not have anything, right? Now if we run our um, pipeline, the application should be here, right? So now we need to create a pipeline now, right? So what we'll do, will in the dashboard we'll create a new item, uh, deploy .NET Core app to Azure VM. Okay, and this will be pipeline. And okay, I'm creating a new pipeline here. Correct. Now I'm just going down, nothing. I'm just saying pipeline script from SCM. SCM, I'm just clicking git. The repository URL, I will go to here, click on .NET SMS app. I'll select copy from here. This is the URL. Go to the Jenkins again and the URL. Credential, I have already selected credential. You can create your own credential for the GitHub, right? And then put it here. If you still find some issue, just let me know. I have created a lot of videos on how to set up credential for GitHub in Jenkins. You can watch. And the branches Azure VM. Let's check into GitHub main my Azure VM. So mention Azure VM. Okay, that's done. And Jenkins file in the root folder. Just save. Now we'll start build and see if there are some issue. Just click on build. Click here and console output. In the meantime, we'll go to the Azure and see storage account. Storage account. This is my storage account. Inside the this data storage, you can container. So the once the file is uploaded into the storage, and the application will be inside my container. My container is now blank, right? So let's see. Okay, .NET restore. This looks uploaded the application to below storage. Let's go to the Azure and refresh. You can see .NET Core App -SMS zip. This application is already uploaded into the below storage. Correct? You can download and check. Now let's go to the Jenkins and see the rest of the. Now it is deploying. Let's see. Watch. The build test is successful. Now let's go to the VM. See, in the .NET folder we have all these applications, right? So it is already deployed. So let's understand. Let's understand this output. .NET restored. First of all, it downloaded the application, then restored the dependencies, and deploy .NET Core, .NET build the application. Build succeeded. Then test, because there is no test application here, it is will be blank. And .NET publish, no resource in the publish folder. And then we archive this published folder to .NET Core SMS GIF, right? And next, this is login to the Azure using AG login. Successfully login. Then AG account set subscription. It is setting the subscription. We are using this subscription only. And then AG storage blob upload. We are uploading our application to the SA.NET apps account, storage account, and the container name con.NET app. In this con.NET app container, we are uploading this GIF file, right? It is successfully uploaded. And then it is giving some warning that the Azure storage key should not be here. So we should use some vault over here. Maybe we'll discuss later. AG storage will generate. We are generating a SAS token, right? And this is the token ID. Now finally we are Azure VM command invoke command ID this. So we are just running our PowerShell command, right? We have created a file and then we are running this command. This will be first of all download our application from the storage account, and then we are putting to the .NET app .NET Core SMS, and then we are extracting file from here, right? So this is done. So suppose we will test, we are running again. So let's suppose we are deleting this two files, right? So it will be override again. If I running this again, it will be override. Build it now. Click on the job and click on console output. The pipeline is successfully done. Now let's move to the VM, and now you can see the app setting.json is now here. It is override, right? So demo is done. Let's move to the slide now. So we have understood how to deploy application from the GitHub to the Azure VM using Jenkins and Azure CLI. I would not recommend to implement this kind of solution to deploy application using CLI, right? I would always recommend to use a complete CD tool. There are many CD tools are available, free tools are available. For example, you can use, because it is in Azure, you can use Azure DevOps or Octopus Deploy, CodeShape. A lot of other tools are available. The open source tools are also available. So that will completely, the deployment tool where it will pick your code from the the artifactory and deploy with some approval workflows, and also deploy one environment to another environment. Complete CD tool, right? So that is recommended. But because this is a requested many time by one of my subscriber, hence I created this video. So you can download my code from this URL, and branch would be Azure VM. Please make sure you are downloading Azure VM branch, else you won't find the Azure CLI code. Feel free to leave any question or comment in the comment section below, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. If your question is a common issue that other might benefit from it, I will consider creating a dedicated video to address it. Your feedback and engagement are greatly appreciated. We have reached the end of our presentation. Thank you for watching, and I hope you found it helpful. Have a fantastic day, take care, and goodbye.